Hi everybody, it's Ethan McKinley and welcome to the 2 Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. My co-host Ellie is choking to death on pistachio chocolate. It's episode 9 of the Terminator Genesis season. We are back, we are here, we're going from minutes 16 to 18, the 2 minutes bridging that gap. And after the credits, we'll have Ellie back in the room.
Hear the music.
I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Load up.
You didn't do the fourth.
Thank God. It sucked. It sucked.
Just waiting.
Go.
I'm going. I've not cut anything. We're just waiting for you. The listeners are waiting. Me and the listeners are waiting for you.
All been waiting for you.
Hello everyone, how are you? It's Ethan McKinley, of course. I am here with Eddie Fitzgerald. We are the 2 Minute Terminators, and
We are the 2 Minute Terminator.
it's not a moniker given to
We're
me
the
by all mates.
2 Minute Terminators.
Basically, we're back with another scene. Carl Reese, the incredibly buff, clearly doing the roids and not eating
He's
rats.
not incredibly buff though.
For someone who lives in a post-apocalyptic wasteland,
Oh, okay.
as the previous guest we've had on in last week's All-Star Week rightly pointed out, everyone looks way too healthy, way too well-fed, and way too kind of portly
He's
of
covered
face.
in puppy fat.
He is. He's like me. Must be eating those jalapeno pretzel
Yeah,
pieces.
but when you were his age, you looked amazing.
Well, basically, the clip starts with John Connor explaining to Jai Courtney, who plays Carl Reese, as he volunteers to go through time, that his mother is a waitress and not the kind of amazing warrior woman that legend
Has told.
has retells the tales. And it ends basically with Carl Reese basically in the middle.
Basically.
I said it twice. I've got to stop doing it. I do apologise, listeners.
Right, every time you say basically, I'm going to slap you around the face. That was actually legit. I am. To try and get you to stop doing it. Oh, look at his face.
The 2 minutes ends with Jai Courtney trapped in the time stream.
Basically trapped in the time. You wanted to say it.
And not to bury the lead,
Basically.
oh God, Matt Smith is seen like staring weirdly at John Connor throughout all of his speech, going,
Is
"This
he in
is."
Doctor Who?
He is. I think he was the 11th Doctor.
I've not watched it, but I remember watching it, seeing the adverts on TV. I stopped watching it when it wasn't black and white anymore.
Yeah, I think what Doctor Who has lost is that kind
Atmosphere.
of atmosphere and scary element.
Yeah.
A bit like the Terminator films, because the first Terminator film, as I've said, is more like a slasher horror movie.
Yeah.
And I
Because
think
he's more zombie-like in the first film.
if I did a Terminator film, I'd dial it all the way back to kind of the basic elements of just being on the run from this just unstoppable force that will not stop until you are dead.
The original, God, what are they called? From Doctor Who?
Daleks?
Daleks. that's it.
Cybermen?
The original Daleks were terrifying. And the main Dalek, the bald guy. Davros. It's really funny because we used to say that was my brother, because when my brother was born, when they pulled his head out of the...
It was misshapen.
It was totally misshapen, and my dad was like, oh my God, I've got a fucking cone head. Oh my
Special kid.
God. And so for like the first 5 years of my brother's life, my dad called him
Is that to do with the forceps they pull the baby out? Because apparently lots of damage is done. One of my exes, Miss H, had jug ears that she had to have pinned back because, for the very reason that the forceps when they yank
Well,
the
my
baby out.
ex's younger brother has now got serious like mental disabilities. He's like 22, but he's got like the brain development of like a 12-year-old, and that's because when they pulled him out with forceps.
He's a bit like me then, forever young. I was mistaken for 26 last night, folks, because of my youthful demeanour. and
Yeah,
skin.
who said that though?
A
Some 19-year-old girl.
That's good though. If that's the demographic
He's
I'm still playing to,
Dumb as fuck,
I'll take it.
probably. Ethan, she was partially blind. Oh, shut up! You look very young for your age, Ethan, but I would never say you look 26.
28. 28.
No.
What? Really?
No.
29?
You look too manly to be 28, 29. I'd say you're a 30-ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
30?
You're pushing it.
Really?
Because you look like a man, Ethan. You've got that kind of like man. That's a good thing.
The aura.
Who wants to look like a young boy apart from me, of course?
Well, you do. If you have just joined us, by the way, we've got some...
Ellie, you look great, but you just don't make enough of yourself. Literally quoting Ethan.
We are going to come to the show. We've got some strange activity on our page.
What's that? We've had a female like it.
Well, no, we've had some
For a
people from
start.
like the Asia area, kind of like Vietnam, Falun Gong kind of area. We've got some Mexican listeners.
Mexico.
We've got some Indian listeners. And we've also got Doug Barbaro, who I think is a fan. Hi, Doug. Welcome to the show. He seems to have jumped all over our page and he's liking certain things. So, Doug, thank you so much for the support. I think he's a friend of, or a listener, of course, of the Back to the Future minutes. If you're interested, Doug, if you're in... We are. We've had one transfer.
Watch this space. Shit, we are going to have to do this Sarah Connor.
It is strange though, because we have got very popular. The last season we started getting these like new kind of likes and things, and people.
But isn't that
the show.
because you've been going on other people's shows and they've been coming on
A little
ours?
bit before that, but obviously more so since then. But
You're really great when you go on other people's shows.
I think, well, because I'm a giant film nerd.
Dude, I mean,
I
yeah,
have to
you could
dial it back a little bit with you because you have no interest in film, sadly. Even though
That's not true. I love watching films, but I'm not a film nerd like you.
shall we talk about this clip? We've got all the stuff out of the way anyway.
Just doing this podcast with Jim, see if I care.
Yeah, listeners, we did Airport Minute on Friday night, which was
Jim
just past.
and was it Mark?
Mark, yes, but I think the show's actually out in November, December time. But we had a grand old time. We actually broke the record. One for they had like an international guest on, someone from England, basically, or outside of the US,
Basically.
the continental United States. Ow. We'll be out in November, and we, even though I'd only just seen Airport and I'd familiarised myself with it, I had like extensive notes. So we did like an hour and 5-minute show. So hopefully, I think he will have just done it as one massive end of week blowout show and not cut it into 5 little chunks. I do hope that. So we've done this epic hour-long. Was it funny? We were quite funny, weren't we? We did Chuck Heston and Connery. And then we talked about Karen Black, the boss-eyed, sexy, ugly girl from Trilogy of Terror.
No, it was good. Couldn't get a word in edgeways. But then again, I didn't really have much to say anyway.
Because you didn't watch the film, Ellie.
Yeah, but I admitted that.
Anyway, this clip. This is the famous speech that
Your
Kyle...
feet smell lovely, by the way.
Thank you. This is the famous speech. Carl was told to memorize this speech, isn't it? Like, this is in these dark times, you'll need to be strong and da-da-da-da-da.
I did put down that this was a homage back to the speech.
An homage to Ben
Kyle
Affleck, Pearl
gives.
Harbor 2001.
Yes, please speak over me some more.
Every time you say homage, I have to go, an homage, sir. 'Cause it's just the way he says it, the way Ben Affleck says, homage, sir, to Alec Baldwin.
Ben Affleck.
There's something, yeah. Do I prefer Matt Damon? I don't know.
I prefer Matt Damon, definitely.
What is it about Ben Affleck that you don't like?
He's just a pudgy... I can't say what I want to say.
I don't know, yeah. I kind of go back and forth
I don't
with
think
him.
his
I
acting's that great. I think he's a really smug bastard. Anyone that can marry Jennifer Lopez has got something seriously wrong with them. People are like, oh, he's great in Dogma. No, he's not. I thought Dogma was actually a bit naff.
That's my least favourite Kevin Smith film.
I don't know. I just don't like Ben Affleck. I think he's rubbish.
You should have played John Connor.
What?
I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Do you know what they should have done? They should have put Marcus Wright, Jai Courtney, and Ben Affleck
Marcus, you
all
didn't
in
call
all
Marcus
in
into
one
this, did you?
really rubbish Terminator film.
Anyway, it is episode 9. We're going from minutes 16 to 18, the 2 minutes bridging that gap. And as I said, it's this pivotal moment where they've tried to tie it to the original films, where he's like, I was asked to memorise this for you, Sarah. He's only been told this once. He must have a brilliant bloody memory, Ellie, to memorise this speech word for word, beat for beat.
I know, and I completely agree. But I guess the whole fantasy, I don't know. I think it's all a bit... I think Kyle knew at this stage that he was going to go back and bang her. Definitely. Of course he did. He's been thinking about this for forever.
No. Well, the Michael Biehn version of the character, I think, is a...
No, I'm not going... I am watching this film as if this is the only Terminator film right now.
Okay.
Thank God that's not true. But the whole way he's been, I'd do anything for Sarah. I'd travel across time for Sarah.
I don't... Yeah, but no.
The fact he carries around that little picture
Even
on
so,
him.
I think he's in love with her. But I think it's a messianic kind of love, like... this kind of in love with the idea of love. I think he wouldn't know what to do with himself had he got Sarah, because the Michael Biehn version, when she's like, "Are the women where you're from?" and he's like, "Yeah, good warriors." She goes, "No, I don't mean that," and she puts her hand on him, and he goes, "Ugh."
Yeah, but that's because he's like crazy into
Oh,
her.
I think the Michael Biehn version of Kyle is a virgin. He must be, right? Because he doesn't. He's like, unless he's playing it, because he's like, ugh, and he kind of gets up and he storms away from when they were sitting down by that motel window.
I don't think
and he
he's...
starts just shoving those pipe bombs into his bag like this, going,
Euphemism.
But because, yeah, kind of, because when she's like going to touch the bomb and they're building him in the first Terminator, she's like, very carefully.
And then he's just shoving them in.
He's just shoving him in.
We did discuss that at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the episode was called "Never Trust a Woman to Build a Bomb."
I don't think he was a virgin.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I don't think he's a virgin, but I think because she's been put on this pedestal and she's like the ultimate fantasy, I guess, in the way that she is the mother of the future and all that jazz. So I think that, I don't know, the Michael Biehn one, yeah, fair enough. But Jai Courtney, I don't know, it's quite clear that he's got the hots for her straight away.
Well, this remodelling of the character is just completely wrong.
And look, he's got a fat neck. I keep noticing
He's
this.
completely
Every time he
miscast.
turns his head, he's got a fat neck.
He shouldn't have been put in this role. I don't know what hot
He
box
looks like
office.
he looks like a cage fighter or an MMA fighter. He's too big. He's too big.
I just don't know what this. It must have been a studio note. I'm not sure
And
if
he's
Alan.
got a weird body as well.
I don't think Alan Taylor would have it would have been his decision. The director of Alan Taylor, of course, has done extensive TV work, according to Darren Husted of the Clueless Minute, who was last week's All-Star guest, the last one of the week. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't imagine the director Alan Taylor actually casting Jai Courtney. It must be a studio note, because everyone that sees this guy goes, "How is he in films and stuff?" I think he's a good actor because he's proven that in.
With what?
Or he's better at. All right, I'll rewind. He's better at comedy, maybe, or doing that kind of broad stroke character stuff that.
From that one film you've seen him in which he's barely in it, Suicide Squad.
No, but the bits he's in,
He's
he's
just
good.
playing
And
an
as we know,
idiot.
Suicide Squad was hacked to pieces. So there's actually a good film in there somewhere. I think. I just think again the studio stepped in. We need to make it like those trailers to make it like. Oh, we're gonna
Slapstick
let you
and-
go. Like the Queen song.
Which actually doesn't feature in the film at all.
Weirdly, there's an homage, sir, Ben Affleck, 2001, Pearl Harbor. In the first Terminator, in one scene, Carl Reese calls the T-800, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version of the Terminator, a skin job. This is a nod to Blade Runner 1982, 2 years before 1984's
Which
Terminator.
you don't rate.
Where Deckard's boss, Bryant, Emmitt Walsh, who only died a couple of years ago, actually, refers to the Nexus 6 cyborgs, as skin jobs. I do rate Blade Runner,
What?
but I think it looks great. I think
I love that film. It's such. I think because I saw it at such a young age.
I saw it at a young age.
Really,
It's got
really
a
stuck
dreamlike
with
quality
me.
to it.
And that Vangelis soundtrack.
Yeah,
just,
that's great.
It's incredible.
I'm completely on board with you. However,
I have this weird, almost like spiritual connection with that film.
Well, there's a fan theory that the Blade Runner universe is the same as the Alien universe.
That would make sense. It's very chiaroscuro, very dark, very kind of.
No, but the replicants and stuff and the cyborgs, they think. It's
No,
kind
that
of
would
the
make
same.
sense. That would make a lot of sense.
The only thing that destroys that, unless it's a different type of robot, is Roy Batty, Rutger Hauer's character, bleeds blood, and all the the robots and aliens bleed like milky substance.
Milky.
Did you know how they did the guts of the robots in Alien when he knocks his head off? It's all that stuff on the table. Do you know what it is?
Isn't it offal and
Nope.
intestines?
No, that's in the top of the alien egg. It's marbles and pasta.
Oh my god. I remember when I was watching the making of Alien, and then it's the bit where they're dissecting the face hugger, and they just used mussels and oysters and things like that just to. That's amazing.
Yeah, because in the
See, that's what you lack in new films now when you have all these special effects. That looks so real because it was actually real. They've just
that
fashioned
stank
it.
the place out under all the studio lights.
Yeah, I
they
remember
never
them
got
saying.
fresh stuff every day. Apparently, it was just stinking. Jason Clarke, who plays John Connor, starred in a 1999 TV series called All Saints. Is the character's name? Well, the character's name was Eddie Furlong. Can you believe that? So Jason Clarke, who plays John Connor in this, played a character called Eddie Furlong in a show called All Saints in 1999 in his native Australia. Yeah, so there you go. Matt Smith's second sci-fi for the big screen, So in 2013, Matt played the 11th Doctor in the feature-length 50th anniversary special of the long-running sci-fi series Doctor Who, which had a big screen release. The 50th anniversary special Day of the Doctor focused on the Time War on Gallifrey, which the Doctor and his people, the Time Lords, fought the evil Dalek robots in a time war. This film is about rebels in the future battling Terminator cyborgs travelling back in time through the future, so a similar plot thing. Now, Ellie, there's speculation that Matt Smith's character is Tim, played in Terminator 2 by Danny Cooksey. Danny Cooksey, Terminator fans, is kind of John Connor's ginger mulleted friend who wears the kind of like, what is it, the cut-off denim jacket with all the studs on it. He goes, hey man, you better split, get out of here, there's a cop looking for you. They think that character is Tim, his right-hand man in this. I don't know how that really works though.
I don't know how that works. Ginger.
So basically, he played John Connor's friend who's pushed aside by the T-1000. Matt Smith's character in reality is the physical manifestation of Skynet. So, how is Matt Smith the physical manifestation of Skynet?
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense.
Because aren't all the Terminators technically the physical
And
manifestation?
also, why are you talking about that at this point? We haven't even seen Skynet yet.
Because we see Matt Smith in this thing and it's quite telling. I mean, well, when I was reading all the kind of the blurb and all the like the...
Do you know what I have noticed about this? And
I knew he was Skynet way before the film, and it was leaked basically. Ow.
You might like this, Ethan, and this is actually me watching the film and pulling out a little bit of nerdy something. Do you remember what we said before about how the lighting would change from, in the beginning, warms to blues? It's all very warm, and then when he comes into this bit, it all goes blue, and then the guy, Matt Smith? Because there's actually a Terminator there. That could have been like a little tiny indicator.
Because it goes
because
cold
it
when you
goes
see Matt
cold,
Smith.
exactly, and it's all
and
blue.
those lights that were kind of like warm before, like, oh well done, I think you've rightly pointed out.
Touch my hand.
Oh no, you're quite right. Very good. I didn't notice that. So the lighting does actually change.
It does completely.
So how do you think? I always thought that all the Terminators were the physical manifestation of Skynet.
Well, I think that's what we were meant to believe. I thought they were all meant to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger
So
in that mould, but obviously
The
not.
same way you could argue that we are.
Do you not think that Jai Courtney looked too much like a Terminator?
We've said it in nearly every episode leading up to this. During All-Star Week and these individual shows we've done.
He does have a weird body though. If you actually look at his chest, it's like it sinks down.
It's the lighting.
It's almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger's body now.
The drop.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. He's a young guy. You can see he's obviously done...
Is Arnie not in shape anymore then?
No, for his age he is, but obviously gravity does take its toll. And bless him, he's had two huge heart surgeries. Great film.
No, all right. People argue that
people are people.
People.
Damn it!
Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode.
I always thought all the Terminator is the physical manifestation of Skynet. So Skynet is aware of everything at all times, not only being through its surveillance capabilities, but also in every single Terminator. So it knows everything that's going on at all times. So what is Matt Smith? Is he just a nanobot technology version of a Terminator, the same way John Connor is?
Maybe he's like some special... Maybe he's like the central hub within that form. I don't know. You raise a really good point though.
And also, how is it acting independently? Because they've shut down the central core of Skynet, and all the Terminators go mew, which, as we said before, doesn't make sense. Because if you sent a Terminator back through time where Skynet didn't exist, it should go mew.
Yeah, they're not the Borg.
So that's a massive plot hole. So now, I guess Skynet is powered down. How is this one individual piece of Skynet still working, or Skynet itself? What's it?
And how come no one else notices his weird behaviour?
I mean, if it is Skynet, how do they not go, oh, who's this strange new person? It must have taken him over at some other point. Do you think it's like The Thing or something? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. So he doesn't know within himself, and then something triggers, and then...
Maybe he was the last one to kind of like drop into that facility with the time thing before they all did.
If not, yeah, he would have had to have initiated himself into their crew years ago.
He's clearly with them, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Maybe he was like a
like
an
mole.
an infiltration that was a mole inside the whole time. I'm not sure which
Gaining
one.
their trust, finding out exactly what they were going to do. Actually, that's a really good point, because that could actually work. A couple of episodes back, I did put it in my notes, but I didn't manage to say it because you and nerd people would just take it over the whole show. It's fine, I know nothing about films. But he gives a speech and he says, right, okay, Skynet knew they were going to be defeated, so they've sent a Terminator back in time. I remember thinking, how did Skynet know that they were going to be defeated? Because it's Skynet. They wouldn't think that the humans would be able to overcome them. So I was thinking, how did Skynet know that they would be defeated, so that then they would send a Terminator back, so in turn John Connor would send someone back? And you're thinking, well, how would they have known that? So if there was an infiltration unit, if there was like a mole, then they would have had that information. So maybe that is what it is. Ethan left the building about 5 minutes ago.
No, you're right. You've made some good points today. I don't know. It's just does anyone notice that Matt Smith's there, or are they just taking him? Is he just a soldier standing with him, or is he one of their
with
cohorts?
a really, really, really fresh haircut I had as well.
That's a haircut you can set your watch by.
It's like he's been to the barbers, you know, where they use the cutthroat razor. It's not one of those.
It's
and
very
also,
sharp.
does it not look like John Connor's been mauled by a velociraptor?
Well, he's meant to have scars on his body.
Yeah, but dude, that's ridiculous.
That
was the Terminator's hand, and if you think about it, he put it at the top of his face and pulled down.
Yeah. No, well, that's in 4. I mean, again, this is not meant to be connected to 4. This is meant to be, again, like the...
All right. If we're going to go from the original, there was
trilogy.
one scar across his eye. In this, he literally looks like he's been mauled by either a velociraptor or a Bengal tiger.
It's only a bloody great Bengal tiger.
Bengal tiger.
Let's have a look at the original Terminator, dude. Here we go.
It looks nothing like that, I'm sure.
No, it is that. I mean, they've repeated it over and over again. It's the right scar. It's just, I think the one on Jason Clarke isn't that great. I think that the makeup job on this guy from 2.
I think that's the best one.
Hang on.
Where you see him briefly for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of looking out surly. Be like, yeah.
They've kind of done it. It's just a much better makeup job on the original Terminator 2 version. It looks better, like, set into his skin. That looks just weirdly plastic. That looks almost like a burn.
Yeah. Whereas on the original, it looks like an actual scar.
Yeah, or like plasticine. They've actually kind of like just scraped down his face.
Yeah.
I think
See,
it's just like
bring back the old effects, dude. Something else I found quite interesting about this scene, and it actually did raise a question for me. Is Jai Courtney meant to be some kind of like heartthrob, or was this moment meant to be for the ladies? Because he's already got his top off. That thing isn't even ready to go yet.
Well,
he's just been walking around.
Why is he not walking up the steps naked?
Exactly. But yet he's just been walking around for ages topless. It's like, mate, it's not even ready yet. So my thinking was this meant to be for the ladies? Is this moment meant to be like, ooh, look at this big burly man who's like all naked?
The pink pound.
Because it failed miserably.
Ellie, whether by coincidence or by design, 2 of James Cameron's unused ideas for this Terminator film ended up being used in this film. The 4th one, that is. In the Terminator, Cameron originally wanted Skynet to send back 2 Terminators to 1984, one being a cyborg and the other a liquid shape-shifting android. However, due to the limitations of special effects, this is for Terminator 1, this is his original idea, which he carried over to 2. He obviously carried that over, obviously, to 2. For Terminator 2, Cameron briefly considered the idea of 2 Arnold Schwarzeneggers battling each other, one being a good Terminator and the other being evil. This eventually changed to 1 T-800 and 1 T-1000, the original idea for Terminator 1. In Terminator Genesis, both a cyborg and a liquid android T-1000 are sent back to the altered timeline of 1984. And then there are 2 T-800s in Arnold's likeness battling each other in 1984 also. So they kind of like took all the bits and just put them all in a big sexy mixer.
Something I do find quite funny, it was only in one of the films did they actually try to make a female Terminator. In no other of the films have they ever even like hinted at the fact there might be a female Terminator.
Well, it didn't work, did it? Who did we discuss? Because we said if you had to have a female Terminator in a film, who would you cast as a female Terminator that would be good?
You recommended one mixed race chick.
Because Christina Loken didn't have that coldness that Robert Patrick had.
Oh no, we said the chick out of The Matrix. She would have been good.
Yeah.
Because she's very clinical, very... Someone else I thought would be quite good. But
Shirley, what's
I
his
don't
name?
think you're a
She
massive
plays the
fan.
Terminator, doesn't she, in the new series that we're going to come to in season 6?
Jerry Ryan, I think, would be a good one because she plays a Borg really, really well.
Does she though?
Yeah, she does.
That's just Jerry Ryan with some Lego stuck to her face.
No, she played it so well.
Come on.
I rate her. I really do. I think she's really hot as well.
Because she looks porn.
Yeah. It's that she's got a tiny waist and she's got a naturally big chest and slim arms. It's rare to get that.
She probably has a corset on under that onesie.
Ethan, you of all
Look how
people
upset
know.
You're getting. Defending a complete stranger.
Because you're the one that's always saying to me, Ellie, there
You're acting
are
like the mayor
actually
from Jaws.
there are actually people out there who are just hot. I've seen pictures of Jerry Ryan in a bikini. She's got a very small waist, very slim arms, and a really decent
It's
chest.
just the way you get all flustered like the mayor out of Jaws. You're like,
because some of the birds you say are hot, and then you're like, ugh, Jerry Ryan.
My kids are on that
like,
beach
what
too.
is wrong with
My
you?
kids are on that beach too. Jerry Ryan. Just sign the paper, chief. You're the mayor of Shark City.
You're not talking to Jim now, Ethan.
Ellie, have you got anything else to add?
Let me have a look at my notes.
I mean, I may as well say
my
this.
only last note that I haven't said, and that's just me keeping to smart and not really talking about the film. I wonder how many people, men and women, were looking at Jai's junk in this scene.
I think everyone would. Your eyes are drawn to something like that. In fact, you know what?
I wonder how many people would admit to looking at it.
Even if you were trying not... Well, can you imagine that? You were looking at him and then someone looks at you and you're like mouthing words going...
I remember when I did life drawing when I was doing A-level art, and as soon as the dude dropped his towel, I just burst out laughing. I got sent out 3 times. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, I'm 18 years old. You've brought in a 60-year-old ex-bodybuilder. His willy is as purple as a grapefruit. No, grapes.
That's all the juice is on.
Oh god, it was ridiculous. And then, bless him, he had to stand there for like 3 hours under these lights. So every now and again he'd stop and have a break. One of the breaks, he'd go to the other side of the room where there was like a bit of a blockade up, so you couldn't really see. But you just saw him get this towel and like rub it on his balls and his undercarriage. Then the next time he took a break, he went over, grabbed the same towel and was like mopping his face. I was like, dude, you've just been like mopping your sweaty balls with that, and now it's all over your face.
Yeah, no, I think because you'd be caught in the time stream of those spinning rings, I think your junk could be flapping about like almost
that's
being
exactly
like,
what I
torn
was
off.
thinking.
A bit like that man in that video we saw where he kind of tied himself to the ceiling on a harness through his nuts and he was just spinning.
Oh god,
who would do that? Sorry, don't go on efoc.com, listeners.
How did he even manage to get himself up there?
I don't know. I'm going to say this probably for the final time as well, and I apologise if you've heard this ad
Is this
infinitum.
contact by any chance?
Yeah. If you actually go on the 2-Minute Terminator page, about a week ago I posted the original designs by James Cameron, who's a brilliant technical drawer because he started off as a special effects man in the Roger Corman films. He actually, nearly said it. He actually...
See, the slap, it works. He fears the
It's
slap.
the Pavlovian response. He did the matte paintings for Escape from New York.
Ooh.
So he painted all the old New York that the helicopters kind of fly into and stuff.
Do you have a poster of that?
I don't.
No, you've got...
I don't think there are any really
Big
great...
Little China.
It's a cool poster, but it's not kind of like amazing.
I will admit, the poster for Airport is really cool.
What with the kind of like the plane doing that? No, Airport 77, that's the poster. With
Not
the
so great a
plane
film,
under-
but a great poster.
Because it tells the story. You go, ooh, I want to see that. That's what a poster really should do. And there's so many of them fail.
So what would you say about the Into the Night poster then? Does it tell you about the film?
Kind of, yeah. Because it's clearly in Hollywood. They're in the hills of LA. They're like looking suspicious.
Jeff Goldblum.
They're on the run. Yeah, I really like the Into the Night poster. I don't know why. But then I don't know why I like the actual film Into the Night, 1985, John Lennon.
I know why you like it.
Why?
Because it's a bit like your life, really. Nothing really happens.
And it's in disarray. And it
Yeah.
just moves on to one
With some
misadventure to
80s,
the next.
some sad 80s synth sounds going over it.
James Cameron did basically designed the time displacement weapon, the tactical time weapon design, which was abandoned for Terminator 2. In the original Terminator 2, they were going to go into a room, like a cold room, and find all these Arnolds on racks, pick one, put the chip in his head and send him back. They couldn't do that because of time constraints and budget, basically. They spent all the money on creating the T-1000, basically, which... oh, no.
What?
I said basically. L.
That was rubbish.
Here before I went. B.
Bleh.
So we had to abandon it. And it just sat there on the shelf for years and years. I'm not sure if they got permission or they stole it, but they kind of reused the spinning rings idea almost beat for beat and bolt for bolt with the time machine / dimensional cross machine in Contact with Jodie Foster. So they kind of recreate it here, but it's not quite as good as the Contact machine.
No, I
but
agree.
it's basically like an upside down horseshoe, or right way up, and it spins. But you actually see within, as it's powering up, these rings rising out of the top, and they start to spin around Jai, basically.
Jai!
Now, I think, was it Darren that brought this up? When they go through the time stream, do you appear where the machine was in the past or wherever you send it? Or do you travel somewhere else? Because they arrive in Terminator 2, they arrive in 2 different places.
The other thing that I completely agreed with, and as soon as he said it, I was like, oh my god, yeah. And that is when they need to go forward again in time, where do they go to find a time machine?
Well, they don't. Arnold, spoilers, in a few episodes we'll get to it, but Arnold builds a kind of, a bit like to Monica Another Minute Show, Back to the Future 3, the Doc arrives out of the past with a time machine train that he made with like 18th century technology, which I don't think would really be possible. Exactly. By the same token, the T-800, the Pops version, builds the time machine that they go through, and he waits for them for the next 20 years because he's got kind of brown hair in the 1984 version. Then all those years later, I think in 2017 it's set.
Yeah.
He's obviously like a silver fox, but he built the time machine out of bric-a-brac and God knows what.
I wish Arnie did just keep his hair like grey. I hate it.
You mean leave it?
Yeah.
Stop dyeing
just
it.
stop dyeing it. It's so hot when it's just grey and natural. It is. There's not. Oh, silver grey hair, man. So sexy.
Why is that sexy?
Because it just is. It's
Is
just
it,
like,
is it experience, age?
it's like ultimate man. It's
Is
just
it
like,
though? That's a man on his downward slide if he's grey.
Yeah, but he's lived. He's experienced. He can show you things.
For about 5 minutes and then he's tired.
I'll just give him some Valium. Not Valium. Viagra. Don't give him Valium.
Give him both. He's got a heart on. He just doesn't care about it.
He just doesn't give a shit.
Thank you for listening, of course, listeners. We shall return tomorrow with episode 10. So we're well into the season now. We've got about, I think, 60 episodes to get through. As Eddie flashes her eyes at me with disgruntlement. We're going to try and get some more. I'm just kidding. So we're going to return tomorrow with episode 10, and we'll be going from minutes 18 to 20, and we've got more time travel fun for you. And we're going to actually get to the bottom of this Matt Smith character and what his agenda is. So thank you all for listening. We shall return. And
hasta la vista.
Machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines.